So let's take a look at the Haftorah of
No talking.
Haftorah in Parshas Terumah, the end of the book. It's
Can you pass the book?
I know a lawyer in America. He has a license in
the Haftorah Parshas Terumah, the book of Kings 1, chapter 5. All different pages, depends what kind of book you have. It describes the building of the Bayit Rishon. It ties in because the Parshas describes the building of the Mishkan. So the Haftorah describes the building of the Bet HaMikdash.
This Terumah? Are you in Terumah?
Haftorah's Parshas Terumah, yes. It's Malachim Aleph Perik Hey Vashem Nosan Chachma L'Shlomo Kasher Dibeloi V'Yisholem Ben Chiram Ben Shlomo V'Chuz B'Shneim. God gave wisdom to Shlomo as God promised him, and there was a peace treaty, an Oslo treaty between Chiram and Shlomo. Who was Chiram? Chiram was the king of Lebanon. The king of Lebanon. So Shlomo made a peace treaty with him because he needed him. He needed him because he needed the cedars of Lebanon to build the Bet HaMikdash. The cedars of Lebanon. So Hiram was the king of Tyre, which is today Lebanon. So Shlomo made a treaty with him in order to get the wood to build the Bet HaMikdash. In Pasuk 27, Shlomo imposed a tax. Mas. What does mas achnasa mean? You see? Vayal HaMelech Shlomo mas mikol Yisrael via mas 30,000 ish. This time the tax was not just money, but it was a tax in people. He drafted 30,000 people to work on the Beis HaMikdash. Mas. Okay? He drafted them. They were drafted to work. They were not volunteers. Mickey, unlike the Mishkan, which was built entirely voluntary, here Shlomo Melech drafted these 30,000 workers. And they were alternating in different shifts, working 1 month in Lebanon, 1 month at a time. Okay, and he sent them, verse 28, he sent them to Lebanon in shifts, 10,000 each month. For 1 month they would be in Lebanon, and for 2 months they would go home for R&R. You know what R&R means, Ruben? Rest and recreation. And this guy, Adinaram, was in charge of the tax, the overseer. Verse 29, additionally to that, you're counting how many? 30,000 plus, verse 29, Shlomo sent 70,000 men, schleppers, 70,000 who carried burdens, and 80,000 to cut in the mountain. So you have 30,000. In addition to 30,000, you had how many? 153,600 who worked in Lebanon, schlepping the raw materials and quarrying the stones for the Beit HaMikdash. If you look in Divrei Hayomim, these people were Gerim. These people were Ger Toshav. The schleppers were Ger Toshav. What's Ger Toshav? Keep the 7, go to heaven. So they were the schleppers, 153,000.
Obviously, they couldn't work on Shabbos.
They couldn't work on Shabbat. What?
Right, which we learned from...
Ben Noach has a lot of work on Shabbos, according to Halacha.
No, but
They were
not according to Rashi.
right.
They drove to my house on B'nai Shabbat.
No, B'nai Noach has a lot of work on Shabbos. The Talmud explains they were non-Jews that they accepted upon themselves the Noachide religion, keep the 7, go to heaven. And they became these schleppers. So in addition, Mickey, in addition to 30,000 plus another 153,000 were employed directly in building and collecting the materials and getting the materials ready for the wood and the stones to build what? The first temple. What's amazing, that the main workers were non-Jewish. The 153,000, Evelyn, were non-Jewish. They were Ger Toshav. Let's keep the 7, go to heaven. And they built the first temple. So perhaps, Alana, the third temple will also be built by what? Chinese workers?
No.
Filipinos?
Jews.
Who knows, right?
Wasn't the problem Arabs built?
It was, it,
Look what we have.
what?
Eretz HaKodesh built
Yeah.
by Arabs, right?
The Arabs are not Ger Tosha.
So you see, Shlomo, Arabs are not Ger Tosha?
The Arabs here? In Israel?
But you see, it's okay for Goyim to build the Beis HaMikdash. It's the Seder Gamor.
Yeah, but not,
So you see, it's okay. Right?
not,
Well, I'm reading the text. That's why you have it in front of you. If it's okay for King Solomon, Evelyn, it's okay for me.
My name is Solomon.
What?
That's my maiden name, Solomon.
Evelyn Solomon. That means the third temple will also be built, Ruvain, by what? Arabs. It says right here.
Arabs are not Ger Tosha.
They'll become Ger Tosha.
Oh, that's something different.
They'll become Ger Tosha.
They have big,
Right.
big Boltons up in
Anyway, let's go to chapter 6. Why is this important, Ruvain? Chapter 6. Vahi bishmonim shana va'arba me'at shana. L'teis b'nei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim. V'shana ha'revi'et b'chodesh Ziv, hu chodesh hasheni, livloch shlomo Yisrael v'yivin habayis Hashem. In the 480th year after the Exodus, Nikki, why is that important? In the 480th year after the Yidden left Mitzrayim, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign, he began to reign when he was 12. So in the 4th year, he was sweet 16. In the 4th year of Shlomo's reign, in the month of Ziv, which is the second month, we call the second month, Mickey, what? Iyar. But in Tanakh it's called Ziv. Rashi says, why is Iyar, Lillian, called Ziv? Ziv means splendor. Remember splendor in the grass? Rashi says in the month of Iyar, the flowers begin to bloom. It's very splendor in the grass. So therefore, Ruvain, the month of Iyar is called what? Ziv. When the flowers begin to bloom and it's splendor. So he built the temple. So why is that important when? In the 480th year after the Exodus. So the answer is, the Malbim says, because Tanakh gives a number of years between the Exodus and the building of the Beis HaMikdash, because the two events are related. In the Pesach Haggadah, Miki, Dayenu, in the Pesach Haggadah, we say, what? Hashem would have taken us out of Egypt, Dayenu, and the sequence of divine gifts and miracles conclude with the building of what? Of the Holy Beis HaMikdash, which implies that the whole purpose of the Exodus, Reuven, the whole purpose of the Exodus was what? To build the Beis HaMikdash in Israel. Not to remain in Borough Park, but to build the Beis HaMikdash in Israel. So the 480 years. So the Exodus began, and 480 years the process ended, because the purpose, the climax, the goal of the Exodus was what? To build the Beis HaMikdash in Eretz Yisrael. So the 40 years from the time the Jews left Egypt until they entered Pisgat Zev, and another 440 years until the Beis HaMikdash was what? Inaugurated, for a total of what? 480 years. That's the goal of the Exodus. Avi is to come to Eretz Yisrael and build the Beis HaMikdash. Okay, now if you look at Pasuk 7, a strange Pasuk there. See Pasuk 7? Buddy, you're just in time. Buddy, just in time. Remember that song? Just in time. Who's, Ilana, you don't remember that song? Just in time. See that? I remember that song. I'm dating myself. Verse 7. Nechama, you got to look inside. Shalom Aviva. Verse 7. When the temple was being built, chapter 6, verse 7, a strange puzzle there. Can you pass a book to Buddy? Thank you. When the temple was being built, it was built of complete quarried stone. Where was the cutting done? In Lebanon. But the hammers, the chisel, and any iron tool was not heard in the temple when it was being built. The temple rose silently. All the cutting, Maddie, and were done at the quarry. Where? In Lebanon.
But in Lebanon, we're allowed
Why not? The problem is, Mickey, only on the Mizbeach. There's no problem using iron for the rest of the Beis Hamikdash.
I don't think
Only-
we should keep saying in Lebanon, because they'll come and they'll want to start.
But it's Lebanon, that's where it came from. The materials for the temple, Reuven, came from Lebanon. All the materials came from Hezbollah. In those days, Hezbollah was on our side. Max, isn't that incredible? Kawiki Diki. Hezbollah is a bitter enemy now. But we're not learning ancient history. No. Tanakh is God's GPS, God's personal system. Just like the first temple was built by the Lebanese, so the final temple, Hezbollah, will become Ger Toshav. They'll do tshuva. Abu Mamzer will do tshuva. We got the roadmap. Chanoch. We got the roadmap. This is not ancient history, current events. Now they have 100,000 rockets pointed at us. But this is telling us they'll convert those rockets to building with the workers. Instead of building rockets, we'll build the third temple. How do I know? I have the game plan. Because Bayit Shlishi is going to follow the roadmap of Bayit Rishon, made in Lebanon by Lebanese. Isn't that incredible?
How do you convince?
Reuven, it's just amazing. Try it in here.
How do you convince the Hezbollah?
We have the text. I have the script.
Tell them.
It's going to happen.
Just
When the Mashiach comes, the blinders will come off. Buddy, they're going to see the light. They're going to see the light. I'm not studying ancient history here, Max. This is current events. This is God's GPS, God's personal system. That's what it is. So it's going to follow that, the same game plan. Now, the temple rose in silence. How? So Chazal tell us they used the shamir. Max, you know what the shamir is?
Worm, the big
That magic worm that worked with laser beams, Shoshana. And laser beams.
cut the stone.
They cut the stones with laser beams. Ein chadash tachas hashemesh. Who said that? Solomon said that.
Nothing new
He
under the
used
sun.
laser beams.
Nothing new under the
The
sun.
question is, why couldn't he use iron tools? Reuven, why couldn't he use iron tools? Because the Torah tells us in Parshas Yitro, you can look it up. You have the book in front of you. Next. Exodus 20, Pasuk 21. Exodus 20, Pasuk 21 tells us not to lift up any iron tools on the Mizbeach. Not to lift an iron tool on the Mizbeach because you desecrate it. But the rest of the temple, there's no problem the Chama using iron tools. But Shlomo Melech was machmir. He was a machmir. Machmir dus, he was a machmir. He did liftim ashura sadin, buddy. The Isra is only what? Ilana on building the Mizbeach with iron tools. But he did liftim ashura sadin. He was a Haredi, and he was machmir. With a sukkah too, what? You'll use iron in the schach. But what's the problem with iron on the Mizbeach? Rashi says, Mizbeach, Rashi in Parshas Yitro, Mizbeach nivra laharich yomav shel adam. The Mizbeach was built in order to lengthen the life of a human being. You brought a korban, you did tshuva, so your life was extended. The habarzel nivra lekatze yomav shel adam. But iron was created to what? To shorten the life of a human being. Iron is used for what? For weapons, right? Ein zeh bedin, so it's not right that iron, which is used for war, which shortens a man's life, is used as a tool on the Mizbeach, which is to lengthen. It just doesn't mix.
Right.
So therefore you can't use any iron tools, Ilana, because iron was used to make weapons of war. And the Mizbeach was made, what? To make shalom. Give peace a chance. So iron, war, and peace, they're just war and peace, don't mix. Max, I don't understand this Rashi. Iron was used for weapons to shorten a human being's life. What about an iron lung? An iron lung extends a human being's life, Shoshana. What are you picking an iron for? Aviva. Iron is used to make swords and weapons, but it's also used to make an iron lung. How many lives did the iron lung save?
Same thing with fire.
No. So fire's okay on the Mizbeach. So what are you picking an iron for? Chanoch, can you help me out on this one? You know what the answer is?
Depends on what you use it for.
But no iron is allowed on the Mizbeach. Because you make iron bullets and iron weapons. But you also make an iron lung. That extends life. Shelley, what's going on over here? So the answer is yes. But the first time iron was used in the history of mankind was for weapons. Yes, he made iron lungs. But the first time a human being, Tubal Kayin, the first thing he made was what? A weapon. So therefore, it can't be used on Mizbeach. Even though later on iron was used constructively. But the first time a human being ever used iron was for destructive purpose, to create weapons. So therefore, Tubal Kayin, therefore God says it cannot use it on the Mizbeach. What did you use it the first time for? Weapons, it's out. Even though later on you'll use it for constructive purposes. But since you created it the first time, look in Genesis 1, as weapons of war to kill people, so that put a negative on iron forever, never to be used on the Mizbeach. Yes, Chanoch?
So are we saying that inanimate objects have a spirituality also? And that's contained in iron, where fire...
That's Aviva's point. Fire can be constructive and destructive. Right? So the first time Adam Arishon invented fire on Motzei Shabbat, he used it to warm himself. So therefore fire is kosher on the Mizbeach. But the first time a human being created iron, the tool was not a plow, it was a sword, a knife, sakin, the knife intifada. Get it? The knife intifada.
But the weapons are bad.
Or what?
Are weapons bad?
But the first time a human being made iron was to kill.
Yeah.
So the inauguration of iron as a tool was for destructive purposes. So it became disqualified for the Mizbeach. Because the Mizbeach is to make shalom. And iron was used to make war. It just doesn't mix. But does God need a building with all of... Take a look at the punchline here. Look at Pasuk 11. Max, you want to read it in English? The word of Hashem, towards the end of the Haftorah. The word of Hashem came to Shlomo saying, that Pasuk Yud Bet, Habayit hazeh asher ata boneh, I need your building. Im telech b'chukotai es mishpotai taseh. Chukim are laws between what? Man and God, and mishpatim are laws between what? Man and man. If you do them both, v'shematas kol mitzvotai, and you'll observe all of my mitzvot, lalechat bahem, the word halacha. Reuben, you see the word halacha? Lalechat bahem, v'kemoisis devari itach asher dibarti David avicha. Shlomo HaMelech could have been the Messiah. You know that? Mashiach could have been here 3,000 years ago. If he wouldn't have married all of those foreign women, he would have been the Messiah, Alana, 3,000 years ago. That means no Chorban Beit HaMikdash, no Chorban Bayit Rishon, no Chorban Bayit Sheni, no Holocaust, no knife intifada. But he blew it. Ivachuchem. How do you say in Yiddish? Ivachuchem. This law doesn't apply to me. I can marry as many women as I want. They will not, stays Yiddish, they'll not fadrei me a cup. They fadreyed him a cup. He couldn't marry Beis Yaakov girls. He had to go find non-Jewish women to convert them. Right? And there was a phony baloney conversion. So he could have been the Messiah. But close but no cigar. Yes, Nechama?
Well, some people say that the wives were due to political reasons, but then he also, didn't he have chariots and horses? Which he
Okay, but the main sin was marrying all of these women. According to Torah law, a king can only have 18 wives. Only. Who said it's good to be the king? Who said that? It's good to be the man. A king is only allowed to have only 18 wives.
How many did he have?
He had 1,000.
1,000.
Well, he had 700 wives and 300 concubines.
And most of them were foreign women?
A lot of them were foreign women who he converted, but it was a kangaroo conversion.
Was it a kangaroo conversion?
The Talmud said it was a kangaroo conversion. But anyway, so he outsmarted himself. He thought what the Chama said, I'm going to be the Mashiach. The Mashiach's job is to save all mankind, not just the Yidden. So I have to influence all mankind. So I'm going to marry a daughter of all the known kingdoms of the world. And this way I'll be able to what? Influence them to the better. What's the problem with that? God also knows that. But you're not allowed to marry more than 18. Don't try to be smarter than God. That was the problem. So he blew it, and 3,000 years later, Chanoch, we're still waiting for the Mashiach. But does God need a building? Look at the last pasuk, Shoshana. V'shachanti b'toch b'nei Yisrael. I'm not going to dwell in the building. V'shachanti b'toch b'nei Yisrael. V'lo ye'ezor et ami Yisrael. I want to dwell, the word Shechina, Max, the word Shechina. You see, V'shachanti, the last pasuk in the Haftorah. V'shachanti b'toch b'nei Yisrael. My Shechina will dwell not in the building, but in b'toch b'nei Yisrael. Right? B'toch. And I'll never leave my people Israel. So if that's the case, if God will what? Dwell in, not in the building, with his people. And this fits with the Parsha. Max, please go to Parshas Terumah. You have the book in front of you. Look at Parshas Terumah, how it fits in beautifully. Parshas Terumah, Exodus 25, Pasuk 8. I don't know what page it is in your book, but Shemos 25, Pasuk 8. Parshas Terumah. V'osui li migdash v'shachanti b'tocham elana. God says, they shall make for me a Beis HaMikdash, v'shachanti, and I will dwell. Max, where? Not b'tocho, not in the building, b'tocham. B'tocham. So why are you the Mikdash for? If God is not going to dwell b'tocho, it doesn't say I'll dwell in it, in the building, I'll dwell b'tocham. So why need a building for? Why need a building for? Ruben, you have my question?
That's rock, the Eretz Israel,
What?
only in Israel, or with the people of Israel all over the world?
All over the world, I hope.
Nechama, you're ahead of me. You're ahead of me.
Shouldn't be.
But you are ahead of me.
Good question.
Now, the Mishkan was made, look at Pasuk 5. Shemos 25, Pasuk 5. Nechama, you don't have a book in front of you? It's important to look in front. Shemos 25, Pasuk 5. Anyone want to read that, Max?
Red dyed skin, ram skins, fox skins, acacia wood.
Okay. They say ram skins?
Ram skins.
The LA Rams? Ram skins and what other skins?
Tachash skins.
And Tachash skins.
It's a unicorn.
Chazal say it was a unicorn. A unicorn had a beautiful skin. So the Mishkan was made of different type of animal skins. Why? Says the Lubavitcher Rebbe. You sitting down? Remember that song? I've got you under my skin. Chanoch. Says the Lubavitcher Rebbe. When you looked at the Mishkan covered with animal skins, it reminded me that God doesn't dwell under the animal skins. I've got you under my skin. God dwells underneath my skin. That's just a friendly reminder. Human beings need tangible symbols to focus. How do I know God dwells underneath my skin? When you look at the Mishkan with the animal skin, it's a reminder that God dwells under my skin. The Mishkan was just a tangible symbol to remind me that God dwells inside of us. We need, Vicky, friendly reminders.
Sure.
We need friendly reminders.
Right.
Human beings are physical beings, Ruvain, and we need, our attention span is not so great, so we need to focus on what? On tangible symbols. To help me get the message across. But was the Mishkan plan A or was it plan B? An amazing medrash. If you look in Parshas Yisro, plan A, there's always a plan A and a plan B, Max, always. You look in Parshas Yisro, at the end, Exodus 20, Pasuk 20. This is easy, 2020. Remember that's
2020 hindsight.
2020. Exodus 20, verse 20. Mizbach Adama Tasali. As far as I'm concerned, it's for me is enough an altar of earth. B'chol hamakam ha'asker shmi ovei elecha braticha. Plan A was the entire world was supposed to be God's Mishkan. Chanoch. Mizbach Adama, the entire Adama should be God's Mishkan. B'chol ha'makam. You see Exodus 20:20? Shmos 20:20. In every place where I mention my name. I don't need a building filled with golden vessels. Mizbach Adama, that's plan A. But when we sinned with the golden calf, Avi, God said we're going to go to plan B. The golden Mishkan, Ilana, with all the golden vessels, was plan B. Because the Medrash says, Yovoy Zov Shebe Mishkan, V'yechaper al Zov Shebe Egel. What does that mean? Let the gold of the Mishkan come and atone for what? The golden calf discotheque. Max, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But we broke it. We showed God that we couldn't focus on an abstract God. We need something tangible. It's not enough for me, Mizbach Adama. Ilan, I can't be late to it. If I stop the cup, B'chol HaMokayim, God is all over. I need to see something physical. So they made a golden getchka. The Ramban says they meant well. They wanted something to focus on. Why is it wrong? Because God didn't command it. The golden cherubs, Max, a golden calf, golden lovebirds. Where's that picture? Can you pass it around? I don't see much of a difference. You mind passing it to Nechama? The golden cherubs are golden figures. Where are they located, Lillian? In the Holy of Holies. Do you see a difference between that and a golden calf? This is a golden statue, and that's a terrible sin. And golden cherubs.
But we didn't worship the cherubs.
It doesn't matter. What are golden statues doing in the Holy of Holies when a golden statue is Avodah Zarah? What's going on?
But maybe it was built for a good reason.
Hashem said build it that way.
Beautiful. Says Yehuda Levi, what this gentleman said. Why is the golden calf Avodah Zarah and the golden cherubs also statues? Kodesh Kadoshim? Because the golden calf God did not command, and the golden cherubs he did. That's the only difference. A statue is a statue is a statue. But when God does not command it, even though I think it's right, that's Avodah Zarah. And when God commands it, it's a mitzvah. He decides, not me. The Yidden said, I want a golden calf disco. I want to relate to him in a tangible, physical way. They meant well, Ilana, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So God said, okay, you can't focus on Mizbach Adama. It's too abstract for you. Take the gold and do it my way. Da-da-da-da. Max, do it my way. God loves us so much. We'll go to plan B. Plan B is oichet good. My Rebbe used to say, God loves us so much. You can't focus on Mizbach Adama. You can't focus that I'm all over. Nebuch, you got fablunged with golden Statues. Now take gold and make my golden statues in the Holy of Holies. Because in Yahadut, the tikkun comes from the chet. You sin with gold, now take gold and do it my way. Da-da-da-da. That's how much God loves us, Chanoch. The tikkun comes from the chet.
The phrase, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, was Martin Luther as a condemnation of Jews to follow mitzvot.
Well,
Hatred of
they
Jews,
twisted it.
reverence for Jews.
But when the Jews made the golden calf, they had good intentions, says Nachmanides, Yehuda lady. They said, God, I can't focus on you. I need something tangible. Something gold. You're precious. So God said, it's avodah zarah. I didn't command it, but I'm going to make a concession to you. Take that gold and make other statues. And this time it'll be Kodesh Kadoshim, because I commanded you. That's your kapara. That's how much he loves us, Evelyn. The tikkun comes from the sin itself. Why is there, we can talk about Purim, because it's, why is there a mitzvah to have a feast and get drunk on Purim? Isn't it bizarre? From Jews, Haredi Jews, should feast and get drunk on Purim. Isn't that bizarre? Why? Because we sinned with a drunken feast. We sinned with a drunken feast where the food was not kosher. Perhaps the food was kosher, but the entertainment certainly was not kosher. We went to the Hashverosh's party and we feasted and got drunk and enjoyed it. So God says, take a feast and get drunk and do it my way. So it becomes a mitzvah. Look how much he loves us. Avi, are you sitting down? We sinned with food and drink by Achashverosh. Now God says, take food and drink and do it my way. And turn it into a mitzvah. That's just incredible. This idea goes so far. If we're talking about Purim, we can talk about Pesach. Not that before you know it. The hotels are filling up quick.
And you'll be speaking in Haifa.
Yeah, with Rabbi Riskin, be my partner.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we are speaking tomorrow night.
What?
Want to tell you?
Oh, tomorrow night, Kolrina. So where was I? The Rambam in Moreh Nevuchim asks a strange question. Why did God tell us to take a Korban Pesach lamb chops? Korban Pesach is lamb. Lamb was very high in cholesterol. Why not a turkey? The Rambam Moreh Nevuchim says a turkey has less cholesterol. Why, says the Rambam, you look in the book of Yecheskel, the Jews were worshipping the zodiac of the lamb in Mitzrayim. Look in Yecheskel, says Rambam. The Jews worshipped the zodiac of the lamb. That was their avodah zarah. So God says, take the lamb and do it my way. That means, Max, if we would have worshipped the turkey, we would have thanked turkey on Pesach night. The Chanoch, isn't that incredible? This idea in Yahadut, you see it throughout Yahadut. The way a person sins is the way what, Avi? He does tshuva from the sin itself. So we sin, we worship the lamb in Egypt. Yecheskel tells us that. So therefore God says, take a lamb and do it my way. Could have been a turkey.
Here we built with silver too.
What? Where?
We built with
The Beis Hamikdash. But the Mishkan, the majority ingredient was overlaid with gold. The majority of the Mishkan. Gold, gold, gold. Because we sinned with gold.
But we said with silver too.
Well, how did we sin? We didn't make a golden calf, a silver calf. We made a golden calf.
We sold Yosef for silver.
We sold Yosef for silver. Okay, but that's.
But when the Jews were so willing
You got a good point. Evelyn has a good point. 1 second, Evelyn. Evelyn. Oh, Evelyn's cooking with gas. You might not get sidetracked. She brought it up. The Pirkei de Relezer says, Evelyn, when the brothers sold Joseph, that day was Yom Kippur. It was the 10th of Tishrei.
They had money, I know.
Pirkei de Relezer wasn't
Yom Kippur yet. There was no Torah yet.
wasn't Yom Kippur yet, but that day was going to be Yom Kippur. And the Medrash says they took the money and they bought what? Shoes. Says the Prickly Elizabeth, that's why we take our shoes off on Yom Kippur. The brothers sold Brother Joe on Yom Kippur. And they bought shoes. So therefore on Yom Kippur, Ruvain, we what? Take off our shoes.
Evelyn, did you hear that?
Did you hear that, Evelyn? That's pretty amazing. Lillian, you knew that? Good thing you came today. No, seriously. That's why you take your shoes off. That's why you take your shoes off.
You know what?
I'll tell you something about Chana Wasserman. If you're not sitting down for this, Nechama, Rav Chana Wasserman, Zeichet Tzadik Levracha. Evelyn brought it up, so I have to answer. Rav Chana Wasserman, Zeichet Tzadik Levracha. He says, isn't it bizarre, Max, that the Jewish people have been haunted with the blood libel from time immemorial? It is so bizarre. A Yid wouldn't eat an egg with blood. We're so careful not to eat blood. Even an egg has blood, we throw it away. How in the world are the Jewish people accused of using blood for Pesach, for matzahs? It's so bizarre. Says Rav Chana Wasserman, Ilana. It says in Parshas Vayeshev, when the brothers sold Brother Joe, they took his coat and they shechted in goat's blood to cover up their despicable crime. Rashi says that goat's blood looks exactly like human blood. Said Lachona Wasserman. You know why the Jewish people are accused of using human blood in their rituals? It's a onesh. How do you say that in English? A punishment. Going back 3,700 years, we sold our brother, and to cover up the despicable crime, we used goat's blood to cover up our crime, which looks like human blood. Therefore, the Jewish people are haunted by the blood libel throughout the millennium. Chana Wasserman says this. Evelyn, it's punishment.
So
We all have their DNA of the 12 brothers, don't we? Aviva, we have their DNA. We have their divine natural ability. We all come from them. So they did this terrible sin, Mechirat Yosef, and cover up the crime with goat's blood that looks like human blood. So therefore, we are accused of using human blood in our ritual as an onesh for Mechirat Yosef covered up with blood.
So what is
It's coming back to haunt us.
What is
And the Chana Wasserman says, we're going to suffer with that until Mashiach comes.
What
Only
about-
then will the sin be atoned. Which sin, Ruvain? Mechirat Yosef. Now, I don't understand, Ruvain. I don't understand. Because God tells us in Exodus 20, Max, I'm glad you have a book. Look at Exodus 20, Max, in the Ten Commandments. Exodus 20, Pasuk 4. I'll wait. Important to see it inside. Evelyn, not looking up. Exodus 20, Pasuk 4. Anybody want to read that?
You shall not make yourself a carved image, nor any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or in the earth below, or in the water beneath the earth. That's 4.
Yeah. I'm Hashem your God, a jealous God.
That's 5.
I will visit the sins of the fathers on the children only up to what?
Third and fourth.
Fourth generation. You have that? You have it as number 5, right, Max? You have it?
Yes.
Exodus 25. Visiting the sins of the fathers only what? So Shoshana, why are we still suffering 3,700 years later for Mechirat Yosef? It goes against Exodus 20. In the Ten Commandments, God will only punish the children for the sins of the fathers only up to 4 generations, not 3,700 years later. So what's Chana Wasserman talking
we're
about?
still sitting?
Evelyn, you're beautiful. Evelyn's bechaven to Chana Wasserman. We keep making the same mistake. The sinat chinam. So we don't sell our brother. We slander him. Character assassinations. We're still spilling his blood. But we slander a fellow Jew. We're spilling his blood. In the year 2016, said Chana Wasserman. Not 37. We're not paying for their sin, Maddie.
Our own sin.
We slander and hate each other. We spill each other's blood today. It's not their sin. We haven't learned anything from Mechiras Yosef. We haven't learned anything. Nebuch. We're not paying for their sins. That's only 4 generations. The Chol of Ashaman, heavily, Mechaben to the great tzaddik, Hashem Yokam Damo, was murdered by the Nazis.
That's right.
He was murdered by the Nazis. You know, he was here. He was in America. They told him, don't go back. He said, I can't leave my yeshiva boys. I can't leave my yeshiva boys, he said.
That's what Janice Kopchak said also.
Right. He couldn't leave his orphans.
He wasn't even Jewish.
I can't leave my orphans. Janis, the head of the, in Poland, right? Hanoch, he had a Yiddish orphanage.
He was Jewish.
He was Jewish. But anyway, if we could only learn from their mistakes, we're still making that mistake. Sinat achim, sinat chinam, slander, character assassination, killing me softly with words, killing me softly with words. Who sang that? Killing me softly. Roberta Flack. Or Black, I don't know.
Flag. What flag? What else?
Anyway, in Parshas Terumah, very strange. You have the Kruvim, the picture's going around out of it. You mind passing it back? Rashi says the Kruvim had the face of a tinok. A tinok, a child.
And a baby.
Baby face. She got the cutest little baby. It had the face of a baby. A baby is a symbol of innocence, Shelley. Innocence. Who's holier than a baby? A baby is kadosh. My Rebbe Rapam Zatzal said something amazing. Aviva, why does everybody love babies? Because they're innocent and pure. Everybody loves babies, even politicians. Even politicians kiss babies. My Rebbe said because you can sense their kiddusha. The symbol of Kodesh Kadoshim is what? Babies, and therefore the Kruvim in the Kodesh Kadoshim had the face of what? Babies. So the Rebbe said, wait a minute. Here they're Kodesh Kadoshim. In Bereshis, they're called Malachi Chabala.
Angels.
In Bereshis, they're called the Kruvim. Go back to the Bereshis. Good thing you have a book in front of you. Go back to Bereshis. In Bereshis, they're called Malachi Chabala. What does Malachi Chabala means?
Hell's angels.
Hell's angels. Look at Max, you with me on this? Bereshis 3, Pasuk 24. Bereshis 3, Ilana, Pasuk 24. God drove out the human couple. Page 19?
In this book.
In this, the blue book. It's page 19. Ilana, I don't know your book. It's Bereshis 3, Pasuk 24. God drove out the human couple, and he put the east of Eden Kruvim, the very same Kruvim. Rashi calls them Malachi Chabala. Malachi Chabala means what? Hell's angels. And in our Parsha, they're called
Babies.
heavenly angels. Children at the pure innocence, Kodesh Kadoshim. Yolanda, make up your mind. Are the Kruvim hell's angels, Max, or are they heavenly angels? Make up your mind.
What's the pasuk? It's Gimel and pasuk.
It's
Chapter 3.
chapter 3, Pasuk 24. You see that? God drove out the human couple, and he placed east of Eden the Kruvim with a flaming sword. Terrorists! Flaming sword with knives. Rashi says, Malachi Chabala. I'm all mixed up. In our Parsha, they're Kodesh Kadoshim. Here they're called hell's angels. What's the answer?
When we do hate, when we sin.
Beautiful, Nechama. The answer says the Baal Shem Tov, Yaakov had a dream. It says, Malachi Elohim, Olim, the Yardim, Bo. What does Bo mean? In him. It says the Baal Shem Tov, whether angels go up or down depends on the guy in the mirror. We decide, Nechama, beautiful. Our behavior determines whether the Keruvim are Kodesh Kedoshim or Chas V'Sholom, whether the Malachi Chabala. They were Kodesh Kedoshim. When Adam and Chava sinned, they turned the heavenly angels into hell's angels. When we did tshuva and built the Mishkan, we turned them back into what? Heavenly angels. You make the call. What are the angels, Shoshana? Hell's angels or heavenly angels? You make the call. Malach Elohim, Baal Shem Tov. Olim, the Yardim, Bo. The awesome power of a human being. Awesome, dude. That we can control not just our own destiny, Maddie, but the destiny of the Malachim. And therefore, Chazal say, when God created the world and wanted to make Adam, the Malachim said what? Don't create man. We don't want our destiny to be controlled by a human being. They knew what they're talking about. And therefore, Aviva, in the Tana Tokef, Kedushat Hayom, on Yom Kippur Hashem, the holiest prayer, the Tana Tokef, it says the Malachim are trembling. They're shaking in their boots. The Malachim are trembling, even though they have no free will. Why should Malachim tremble on the Yom Adin? Unatana Tokef Kedushat Hayom, Malachim Yichafezun. Why should the Malachim tremble? They have no free will. They can't sin. Because they have good reason to tremble. Because if we don't come out on top, we take them down with us. They have good reason to tremble, buddy. Isn't that the awesome power of a human being? The Mishnah says in Masechta Avot, Dal Mala Mimcha, which means know what's above you. Chaim Volozhin says you got to know where to put the commas. Da Mala, comma. If you want to know what the Malachim are doing Lamala, what are they? Where are they? Mimcha. You make the call what the angels are up to. They have good reason to tremble. When? On Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah. They have good reason to tremble.
So the rabbi, the angels have no body. Does that mean they have?
I ain't got no body. An angel is what? A disembodied soul. What's an angel? A disembodied soul.
So
the Rambam says when a person dies, he becomes an angel. The Rambam in Hilchos Tshuva says when a tzaddik dies, he becomes Malach HaSharet. Right? We just shed our bodysuit. Beam me up, Scotty. This is not me, Max. Don't confuse. If you ask a person, point to yourself. Most people are going to point to their chest. Right? I did a survey. Point to yourself. You point to your chest. But Ruvain, let's say a person has a heart transplant. Can he point to his heart? Is the heart him?
Yes.
No, what? Yes. You have a heart transplant. So how could you point to your chest? I'm not my bodysuit. Don't confuse me with my bodysuit. I'm a soul man. That's who I am. Right? The body is the suit that I wear to maneuver. Right? But that's not me. I'm a godly soul. Right? So anyway, you see how much God loves us that he goes to plan B. Evelyn, plan A seldom works out. My Rebbe Rapam Zatzal said plan A seldom works out. Plan B is Eichid Gut. Gamzu Latova. A golden Mishkan, Eichid Gut. Even though that's not what God wanted, he wanted Mizbach Adama. The whole world should be his Mishkan. Okay, you guys can't relate to that. You build a golden Getchka, take gold and do it my way. Also good. Who loves you, baby? Powerful message. Powerful. Any questions, comments?
Well,
Yes, Nechama?
can you go back to the fact of Haftorah, who is he in Eretz Israel in the human being in us, or is he in the Ha'olam?
B'tocham, she's referring.
He has to be.
Let's go to Parshas Terumah again. Let's go. Osuli Migdash. We're going back to Terumah. Nechama, that's why I want you to have a book in front of you. Shemos 25, Pasuk 8. Shemos 25, Pasuk 8. Osuli Migdash, V'shechanti b'tocham. But I dwell inside every Jew,
Wherever they are.
wherever they are.
You said he was
But you still have to live in Israel.
No, that's what I'm asking.
You still have to put on tefillin. Living in Israel is like putting on tefillin, right?
You can put tefillin on.
You put it on.
But you're only practicing.
That's right. Only practicing.
Oh, that's right.
Ah.
Rashi in Deuteronomy 11 quotes a Sifri that the reason you put on tefillin in Borough Park is you're practicing. Rashi, who lived in France, writes in Deuteronomy 11, he quotes a Sifri that a person has mezuzah, tefillin, in Chutz La'aretz only as a practice.
Taking the holla also,
Huh?
everything. Practice for what?
Practice for doing them.
When they get back here.
You want to play in the minor leagues all your life, or you want to pitch in the major leagues? Maddie, thank God we're in the major leagues. In Borough Park, they're still in the minor leagues.
But they don't think so.
They don't know so.
They feel that Hashem doesn't want us here till He brings us here.
What does that mean?
He brought us here.
No.
God only helps those who help themselves. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm not going to put on tefillin. God will put on tefillin on me. You have to do the mitzvah, not God. Living in Israel is a mitzvah. It's like putting on tefillin. Is God? I'm not going to put on tefillin. I'm going to sit back and God will put on tefillin on me. No, I'll sit back in Borough Park and God will bring me. Makes no sense.
Why?
We have to do the mitzvah. Living in Israel is a mitzvah like putting on tefillin. God is not going to put on tefillin for you. We've got to do the
But
mitzvah.
God said we're going to be in Gullus a long, long time.
But how long? How long is long? How long is long? What?
Was Moshe Rabbeinu in the minor leagues? You don't have to answer.
Well, I'm prepared. I'm prepared. I didn't know he was going to ask me this question.
What about Yosef?
Vayikra el Moshe. Why is there a kleinchik aleph?
Small.
A kleinchik. How do you say kleinchik in English?
Small, tiny.
Says the Zohar HaKadosh. What is your name, sir?
Avraham.
Avraham. You sitting down, Avraham? You're sitting down. I didn't know I was going to ask you this. The Zohar HaKadosh says Vayikra is written with a small aleph. Rashi quotes the Medrash, Vayikra is a lovey-dovey terms of endearment. Vayikra, when God calls someone, it's lovey-dovey terms of endearment. Says the Zohar, why is Vayikra Moshe with a klein chika aleph? Because the lovey-dovey couldn't be complete, because Moshe didn't come to Pisgat Zev. The Zohar HaKadosh says, it's not me. Why is the Vayikra with a small aleph? Vayikra means lovey-dovey, God calls. So why Moshe Rabbeinu, it gets a small aleph? Says the Zohar, because the lovey-dovey could not be complete, because Moshe Rabbeinu never stepped foot in Rechavia, even though it wasn't his fault. But he never lived there, so the Vayikra could not be written normally. Rabbi Abraham, Zohar HaKadosh. I'm over 40, so I can quote the Zohar. You know this? That's what the Zohar HaKadosh says that. And therefore Moshe Rabbeinu is not the fourth regel of the Merkava. There's 4 regels that hold up the Merkava, right? Who are they? No, they're Api Zohar HaKadosh, Api Kabbalah, the 4 legs that hold up God's throne. Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and David HaMelech. Who's greater than Holy Moses? The Av Nevi'im. How come he couldn't be the 4th regel? Because he didn't live in Rechavia, even though it's not his fault.